Hilchos Zechiyah uMattanah Perek Zayin Aleph Minik Pasha Berev HaMedinis Shebizman She'isa Adam Isha V'Shachal Le'Reov U'Miyudov U'Mois K'dei She'Yischazik Behen Al Yitzah She'Moitzi B'Yishtei. There's a universally accepted minig in most countries that when a man marries, his friends send him money to support the expenses that he undertakes on behalf of his wife. The friends who sent him the money and eat and drink with the chassan during all or part of the 7 days of wedding celebration. Everything should be done according to the accepted local custom. The money that he sent is called shushavinus. So the money that he sent is called shushavinus. And the people who send the money and then come and eat the drink, the chassan, are called shushavinin. Base. Shushavinus is not an outright gift. Now, it's obvious that a person does not send a friend 10 dinarim with the kavanah that he eat and drink as who's worth. He sent him the money solely because his kavanah was that when he would marry, he would send him money as he sent him. Therefore, if the sender marries a woman and the recipient does not return the shushavinus, the sender can lodge a legal claim against the recipient and take the money for him. Gimel, he cannot lodge a claim against him unless he marries in the same way that he does. Ketzad haso. Reuben shnasa psula v'shalach le'Shimon shushavinus. V'achar nasa Shimon almana. And yachal l'tveya l'hafsa le'shushavinus. If Reuben married a psula and Shimon sent him shushavinus, then Shimon marries a widow. Shimon cannot demand that he return the shushavinus, for he will tell him, I will return to you only for a maiden, as you have given me. If the giver sent the recipient shushavinus for a widow or a marriage of a widow, he cannot demand that he return him for the marriage of a psula. Dalad also Reuben mishta begoli perhesi also Shimon betzina. I trust Reuben betzina v'Shimon perhesi and the yachal tavi. Reuben made a large public reception, while Shimon made a modest private affair. Or Reuben married modestly, and Shimon made a public affair. So then he cannot lodge a claim against him. For he can tell him, I will not do for you anything else than what you did for me. Hey, Reuben shnasa isha v'shalach Shimon shushavinus v'achal v'shasa imei v'achar nasa Shimon kinesu Reuben asman abodu v'achal v'shasa imei. Reuben married a woman and Shimon sent him shushavinus and came and ate and drank with him. Afterwards, Reuben married it in precisely the same manner as Reuben did. And Reuben came and ate and drank with him. Or Shimon called Reuben, and he did not desire to come. Or he heard in a herald the place where it's not customary to give private invitations. Everyone who hears the announcement comes, and Reuben heard the announcement and did not yet come. So now he has to return all the shushavinus. For he knew about the wedding and he did not come. Or he was given a private invitation, a place where that was the custom, he didn't come. That's the Reuben was not in the city when Shimon married. He may deduct the cost of the food that Shimon ate at his wedding feast, but must return to him the remainder of the shushavinus. Reuben was in the city when Shimon married. He did not invite him or notify him. he may make such a deduction. And even more so, is justified the complaint, and he should have notified. How should he deduct? Deductions customarily made. Shira sent them only a dinner, you did not return him anything for him. So first of all, if he sent them a dinner, he did not return anything for him, for the dinner is the cost of what he ate. If Shimon sent them between a dinner and a salah, half should be deducted. If he gave him more than a salah, he must assess the intent of the sender at the size of the sheshavinis. The guy is like cheap, tight-fisted, keeps careful account of his expenses. Only what he ate and drank should be deducted, and we must pay him the remainder. Test. Shimon dies before he marries, or he marries and dies in the midst of the wedding. The Reuben is not required to give the Yershim anything. He can tell the Yershim, bring my sheshubin, and I will gladly celebrate with him and pay him my due. The figure of Shimon. I card a label ba actually I didn't know shall deal. Oil the showing me Mr. Shimon Khybru and answer Shishavinis, the Yashabi Kulibiniki and lay due by the Hayim dinner. Reuben rejoiced with Shimon, and afterwards Shimon died. Reuben invited him to a wedding and he did not come. Reuben was not in the city at the time of the Shimon's wedding, or did not notify him. Shimon died after the days of rejoicing were concluded. Reuben is obligated to return the Shishavinis to Shimon's Yershim, either in its entirely or after the deduction has been made, if he did not notify him or he was not in the city. Reuben last Reuben Now, if Reuben died and then Shimon married a woman and the days of rejoicing were concluded, the minig is to collect the sheshavinin from the Yershim. Reuben's Yershim are compelled to return the sheshavinin. In a place where there is not the local custom, Reuben's Yershim are not obligated to pay anything. He base Meis Reuben Achash Nazar Shirben Isha Rishon Yimia Mishda Kefenas Yershim Masham Nashishvin Bechol Malkim. Shanisai maybe in the Shalom Kuli Yachai Lashalom Masham Kuli Viminikim Masham Miniki. Reuben died after Shimon married a woman, and the days of rejoicing were finished. Reuben's Yershim are compelled to pay the Shishavinis, regardless of the locale in which they live, for they were obligated to pay before his death. If he was required to pay the entire sum, they must pay that amount. If a deduction was made, the deduction also applies to them. There are 5 statements said by Shishavinis. Nig must be based in Shena Elikamei Milva. He may collect it and base there for his own, like a loan, and not it's not a gift. Is Elabei Nasik in the Sunnah edition. It needs to be repaid only at the required time when the marriage is held at the same manner at which the first person's marriage. This is like a condition of the loan, although he did not explicitly state that he was giving the loan with the intent. The issue against taking interest is not involved. Even if a person sent his friend a dinner and the friend sent him 10, it's permissible as far as that he did not send him with intent to add. That he add. It's not nullified the shvis as far as that the giver may not demand payment from the sibling until he marries in the same manner as he married. The firstborn does not receive a double portion when the shishvinis is returned to the giver's yershim. As far as at the time of the division of the estate, it's not an actual part of the estate, but rather a row, as we'll explain in regards to this subject. A person offers a true to his friend, so when a person offers a friend money when the latter's financial status suffers, and the guy refuses to take it, and the giver takes and the giver takes his oath that he's unwilling that the recipient not accepted it. Even though he did not say explicitly the money is considered to be a gift, the giver may not retract the demand payment unless he explicitly states that he's giving a gift as a loan. When a person says jugs of wine or oil to a friend at the time of the wedding, he may not demand payment in Beis Din. So the deeds of kindness, the shushavinis apply only to money.
Zechiyah uMattanah Perek 8. Hasuma oya piseach, a blind or a lame, a gidim or a handless person, somebody who feels pain in his head, in his eyes, a biyodai or in his hand, a baragli or his foot, with regards to purchasing and sales or gifts, he's considered a healthy person. When a person becomes ill to the extent that he feels weak throughout the entire body, because of his illness, his strength has dwindled to the extent that he cannot walk on his feet. He's confined to his bed. This is called the shchimina. And the gifts that he gives is different than a healthy person. When Shchimina gives orders and says, give so-and-so such and such and so-and-so such and such, the intended recipient acquires all the property apportioned to him when the sick person dies. In Tzarech Kinyan, he does not need to have a Kinyan. And it doesn't matter whether on Shabbos or in the weekday, because the instructions of Shchimina are like written and transferred. This is Midrabanan. Even though it's only Midrabanan, they made it like David Terek. In order that the dying person will not become exasperated knowing that his words are not of consequences. Therefore, if a dying man says, confirm my statement with a kinyan, even on Shabbos, it's considered a good kinyan. For a kinyan, for this kinyan is really unnecessary. A shchimina does not need to say, you are my witnesses. Whoever hears a statement may serve as a witness. Person does not speak shlusim at the time of his death. When the shchimina orders that a gift be given to a fetus in his mother's womb, the fetus acquires the property. As far as it is that a person has a unique feeling of closeness towards his son, as we explained. When the shchimina says, if my wife gives birth to a boy, he should receive a mana. But if she gives birth to a girl, she should receive 200 zuz. And the elder zafar, if she gives birth to a boy noitel mana, he receives a mana. The elder nekevin tells Messiah, she gives birth to a girl, she receives 200 zuz. The elder zafar nekeva zafar noitel mana, and nekevin Messiah. She gives birth to a boy and a girl, the boy receives a mana and the girl 200 zuz. The elder tumtum adrignes noitel kapaz mishnayim. If she gave birth to a tumtum or an adrignes, the child should be given the lesser of the two amounts. The shchimina is asked, to whom do you want your property given? And he replies, I thought that I had a son, or that my wife is pregnant. And I thought that I had a son, or that my wife is pregnant. Now that I know that I have no son, or my wife is not pregnant, my property should be given to so-and-so. Now, if it's discovered that in fact he had a son or his wife was pregnant, even after the wife miscarried or the son died, the gift is not binding. Ownership of gift given by shchimina is not transferred until after the death of the shchimina. No one acquires any of the line of property or movable property or portion to him until after the death of the shchimina. This reason would take money to pay the ksuba and the living expenses for the deceased wife and his daughters for the property that the shchimina apportioned to the intended recipient. Shadi b'misos and the stai b'nechasim. The ksubim is the svar is that with his death, his estate becomes obligated to pay his wife's money due to by virtue of her ksuba and the living expenses. And the recipient of the gift does not acquire what was given to them until after the death of the shemina. You had mad shemina shekasa ben kinyan. A document recorded a gift given by a shemina represents a kinyan. Whether it involves a portion of the deceased estate to an entire state. There's a doubt about this matter. Perhaps he did not make up his mind to transfer ownership except via legal documents. So here the gift will not be effective. For a gift given by a shemina, it takes effect only after the principal's death, and the legal document cannot transfer property after the principal's death. However, the kinyan was made solely to augment the legal power of the recipient. It was written, let's say, and the kinyan was performed to amplify this gift. It is binding. When the shemina says, compose a record and give it to so-and-so amana, but he dies before the record was composed and the gift was given to him, in case when he named him, the record should not be composed, nor should the gift be given. We suspect that perhaps the shemina made up his mind to transfer the gift to the recipient by shtar, and the legal document cannot affect the transfer after the principal's death. Again, if however we said, right, to augment the legal power of the recipient, for example, he said, so on mana. Then he added a composer record and gave to him, the legal record should be composed, signed, and given even after the death of the shemina. The shemina apportions all the property of condition without retaining anything for himself. If he recovers, the gift is retracted. This applies even if you confirm the statement with the king to augment the legal power of the recipient, and it's similar. It applies whether he apportioned all his property to one individual or two individuals. As far as that we assume that he did not want to give all his property to that person as a gift, and his kudo was that the recipient should not acquire anything until after he died. If he retains anything for himself, either landed property or movable property, as a matana mixes with stomach of matas burj, so if he retains anything for himself, either landed property or movable property, he is given only part of the property as a gift. Such a gift is given without an explicit statement of kavan. It's considered to be a gift given by a healthy man, and is effective for the time it was written. Therefore, if he is not retracted upon the recovery of the shemina, as long as he makes a kinyan, for a gift given by shemina that transfers only part of the property, it requires opinion. Kinyan ben amad ben le'amad, whether he recovers or whether he does not recover. He gives it stamazit without making an explicit statement. Such an instance, we assess his kavanah and presume that since he retained property, his intent was to transfer the property during his lifetime, like a gift given by a healthy man. If however, the dying man explicitly states that he is giving the portion of estate as a gift of a shemina, which takes effect after the death, so there's no need to confirm the moment chayzer, and if he does better, it's the chayzer. If he does not recover, the intended recipient requires the portion of the state. If such a gift was confirmed, the kinyan intended recipient does not acquire the property or portion to him unless the kinyan was intended to amplify the legal power of the recipient. Do not make this mistake. Should a dying man apportion all his property as a state, explicitly that he is giving everything from the present, and that his gift should take effect during his lifetime, such a gift is not governed by the laws of the shemina. This is not a shemina. Instead, it's like any other gift given by a healthy person. The legal document reaches the hand of the recipient or the giver, confirms the gift for the kinyan. The recipient acquires everything, and the giver cannot retract. When a person on his death gives a gift. His legal record states in his life and his death, or from my life or from my death. So it's considered to be a gift. Since he writes in his death, this applies whether the dying man apportioned all his property or not. The expression in death indicates that the kavan is that the gift should take effect after the giver's death. It says in life, only to settle the giver's mind and express a prayer, they will survive from his illness. Even though a person owns deathbed, portions all the property that he knows that is known to possess, is considered as if he apportioned only part of the estate. Shlimina confirm the gift of the king, and they can remember the gift is not retracted. We suspect that he owns other property in a distant country. This applies, that's the non-man says, on my property that is these, or unless is the common assumption that the person owns only part of the property that he apportioned, and then the gift is considered to apply on all his properties. The Shimon apportions all his property to other people. We see we see whether it appears that his intent is to divide his estate. If that's so then if he dies, all the intended recipients acquire the property designated for them. If he recovers, all the gifts are retracted. If, however, it appears that he was reconsidering the matter after he made a gift with the leftover part of this property, he paused and then apportioned them. If he dies, they all if he recovers, only the final gift that designated is retracted, with the person alone was given all his remaining property. And the Shemina made signs over all his property to one of their servants, and then recovers, the gift of the property is retracted. The gift of freedom to the slave, however, is not retracted, because he already gained the reputation of being a free man. And the Shemina portions his property because of Misa. He thinks that he will die. It's obvious from his words. If even if he made a kinyan, if he recovers, the gift is retracted. When a person goes out to sea or on a caravan or journey, is being transferred in chains, or is dangerously ill, having fallen sick suddenly with a severe sickness, any of these four individuals is considered to be a person who portions his property because of his death. His statements are considered as if they are written down in a legal document, and his property has already been apportioned. If these individuals die, their instructions are carried out. If they are saved and recover, even though a kinyan had been made to confirm the gift of a portion of the estate, the gift is retracted as the Allah is for the blessed anyone who apportions his property because of the impending death. The Shemina passes from one sickness to another, and if it does not recover and does not walk unsupported in the marketplace, the gift that he gives is money. When a dying man stands and walks supported between the sickness in which he apportioned his property and the sickness for which he died, we have physicians assess whether if we have physicians whether or not he died from the first sickness that affected him. If this is so, the gift is binding. If not, the gift is not binding. If he walked in the marketplace without support, no assessment is necessary, and the gift that he originally gave is nullified. When there's a record of an oral will made by a Shemina that does not say that he died because of the sickness during which he apportioned his property, but the property is assumed to belong to the legal heirs. So mace, unless the recipient of the gift brings proof that he died because of the sickness during which he apportioned his property. Zechiyah uMattanah, chapter 9, Aleph. Shiv Meirash Tziva v'Omer le'Tigalo Matana zu le'Tidiu b'Odam el la'achar misar zu Matana ke'emes ve'ina Matana musu teres. When the Shemira says to those listening to the proportion of the property, do not reveal this gift and do not tell anyone about it until after my death, the gift is binding and is not considered to be a hidden gift. But at the time of the transfer takes place after the death, the person is being megala, it reveals the matter. A person who apportions his property because of the impending death does not have to publicize the matana. Even though it's written without any specific instructions, we do not assume that the kawana was that it would be hidden. When the Shemira says, let so-and-so take all of the property or property of part of my property, or uses the verb take hold of it, acquire, obtain, they are all expressions connoting a gift. Similarly, if he says inherit or receive as an inheritance, when the intended recipient is fit to inherit the property, the intended recipient acquires it. Amr Yehani Pleni Behen Yamik Behen Yishan Behen Laikana. The Shemira says, may so-and-so benefit from my property, may he stand in it, or may he be supported. Intended recipient does not acquire the property. Hey, Shemira Shekazam Konafasik La'achar. The Shemira apportions all his property to another person. If he is not fit to inherit the property, he is awarded as a gift. If he is fit to inherit, he is awarded as an inheritance. When the intended recipient is one of the dying man's daughter, or one of the members of his household, one of the brothers, one of his brother's heirs, if ever the dying man gave the entire estate to one of his sons, we assume the appointed man is a executor, as explained. For a person's death, he was asked, to whom should your property be given? Perhaps to so-and-so, and the dying man answers, to whom else? The person is awarded the property. We see whether he is fit to inherit the property. If he's awarded it as inheritance, if not, he's awarded as a gift. When a comrade has a son who was not conceived in holiness, since he's not a Yiddish, also the convert cannot give the son the entire estate as a gift given by Shemira. The Kolel levitzos, not the entire estate, not a portion of it. As far as that was speaking about a potential Yiddish, there's no difference whether one uses wording that connotes inheritance or one that connotes a gift. If the situation mentioned about one said that the convert should not acquire the property, should be as inherited that follows the state. Therefore, if the dying convert made his estate as a gift to any other convert, the gift is affected. When a Shemina acknowledges that he owes a debt of a particular amount to be given and asks it be given from the state, or acknowledges, he says, so Tnuli or Chotzer Pleni shall Pleni Cheshish to be the Pleni in Yishlei, they shall Pleni B'Chalela Dvarim Kitzman, they're all good. Filo Haida, again, the nation, even if a convert acknowledges an obligation to sin who was not conceived in Kedusha, statements are by the Shemira. Even if a person acknowledges a debt, the guy should be repaid. We don't in Shemina, we don't listen, we should see it's as if he commanded that a transgression be performed from his property. I'm replaining out the Asub Media, Ben Lefadin, Ashama Sisi, Asa Ben Kenish, Hadeu Ben Ken Kafin, Asa Irshan, Shafin, Asa. If a dying man says, my servant sold, so I make him a free man, I made him a free man, we hold as a free man, we can put the person's Yershan to free the servant. As far as it is, I was Yeshlim mitzvahs. As far as that a servant is obligated to perform certain mitzvahs. I'm replaining Shukasi also like create a stuff, I used to know create a stuff, and I read this. If a dying man says, generate satisfaction for so-and-so, my maid servant, satisfaction should be generated for her, should be given any type of work she desires out of all the types of work that I know to be performed by servants and not locale. and the Shemina writes all his property to a specific person. That person says, I do not desire it, it is not acquired. If he intended, guys kept quiet and then protested, he is acquired. As the words of a Shemina are considered as if they have already been recorded in the legal document and the property had already been transferred. But once the recipient remains silent, he can no longer retract. As well, Shemina the Shemina portions his property to one person and then changes his mind and portions his property to another person. The later person acquires it. Whether he checks the amount or only a portion of it, or whether he seeks to retain the property of himself to give to another. And because the Shemina has someone acquire the property on the recipient's behalf, this transaction is still considered to be a gift given by Shemina. If our Shemina portioned this property to a person that someone acquired the property of the recipient's behalf and they confirm the transfer to the Kenyan, nothing has been done for the Kenyan. He can now retract neither to give the property to another person or to retain it himself. Supplies whether he gave his entire estate or only a portion of the Shemina. The Shemina retracts part of his appointment of his estate, entire kids, and not call the and if the opposite case, if he gave all his property to one person, he confirms his gift with the Kenyan. The first person does not acquire anything, whether the Shemina recovers or dies. When the dying man gives a portion of his estate as a gift, and confirms with the Kenyan of Africa, the opposite case, and then gives his entire estate to another person and confirms his gift for the Kenyan, in order to bolster the recipient's legal power. It's matters all his property without retaining anything, declares his property unless it divides his estate amongst the poor if he recovers or retracts everything. If a person conducts a sale while Shemina sells money, even if he recovers, when a dying man sells his entire estate, if the money is sold that he receives of the estate is still in possession, he may retract if he recovers, and makes money, said he Matana, she's down with the parish, but he shall your body trust in the Shemina. When the legal document recording a gift is brought before us, and does not explicitly state whether the giver was a healthy person or whether he was a Shemina. The giver claims that he was a Shemina, that he recovering now desires to retract his gift. The recipient of the gift claims that the giver was healthy and therefore does not have the option to retract. The recipient must give proof that the giver was healthy. If he does not find any proof, the giver must take it as Shvasesa supporting his claim. Afterwards, the land property remains in the possession of the giver. If it was in Makabel, since he can claim it's mine, he is allowed to retain the possession of the property, provided he takes it for assessors that the giver was healthy when he had the gift. When a person dies and a legal document recorded, the gift is recorded tied to the estate, even though the document is signed by a witness and mentioned that a king was undertaking the bolster to the legal power of the recipient. Documents have no consequences. We assume that the Shemina had written and changed his mind and retracted the gift. It was even by the Acher being when a Yershim bin Shenim and a Yershim called them Shabbakim called the Chomat Shemina. Chemisha Kosu Star Feva Asper B'Shem Acher. When a Shemina has a note composed in that he owes money to a particular person, name Shem Mecha Ben Bana Ben Bia Shirtent. So they have an Asna Star or that Sholish Amrla Yezeh Astafal. It gave it to a third party and says it should be by you. Will they pierce the Klum? Oisham Lehanach Hashem Lacham Aftasa Mace, or he says leave it this until I tell you what to do. And he dies, alright, arrange the Klum. Stating in the document there's no consequence.